Here real quick for today's conversation. I really think you're gonna like today's conversation. Today's conversation is called "Situation of Design" or a design situation, and we're gonna take a look at about 7 different things that are popping off that I don't know a lot of us pay attention to or not. I often say that the American dream is a dream because you're asleep. So today we're going to look at a divine situation or a situation divine. And and I say that because of what's being played, what's happening with society, what we can actually see that is going on. And a lot of us is pretty hip to it, but some of us, it's like it's the day-to-day struggle. Some of us just continue to do the same thing over and over again, think everything is going to be okay. And it's not going to be okay. Everything is not going to be the same. So today we're going to really take a look at it in this conversation piece, situation of design. So I just want to welcome everybody that comes in, that comes on. I hope that you're doing all right, that things are well for you and yours. Greetings, everybody. This is going to be a pretty good discussion, pretty good topic for today. Situation of design. Yeah, situation of design. Why would you say situation of design? So we're gonna get right into that, and I'm gonna cover about 9 things real quick and real direct, you know. But I want to send a big shout out to the Nobles. On this past weekend, we had a great time up in Long Beach, California. Man, the Nobles, y'all did a good thing. We went to the All Black that was put on by the Nobles, the Grand, I think it's called the Grand Council uh, here in California, the Grand Council of Nobles here in California. They put this on. Greetings. I appreciate everybody clicking in right now. From oh, okay, all right. What's going on, my brother? Yeah, yeah. We're gonna have to talk. We're gonna have to talk. I'm preparing for my trip next year. If all goes well, I'm gonna send you some information on what we're trying to do, so you will have that. So today's topic is called situation of design, or you can flip that and say a design situation. So point number one that we're gonna talk about. Point number one is how they're training people on TV to consume. A lot of us already know about that. Okay? Situation of design is how they're training people on TV to just be consumed, to be consumers. All you're going to do is buy, buy, buy. You're not going to question anything. So you're becoming more of a consumer. You're not doing anything as far as building, as far as designing, as far as trade. So you're just becoming a consumer. All you're doing is buying. You make your money, and then you spend your money. So what they're doing, what I see, is it's called a situational design, is where they're just training people to be consumers. Consume everything. Just consume, consume, consume. That's number one. That's point number one. Situation of design. All right. Follow me if you don't believe me. So point number two. Point number two is what they do is they indoctrinate the adults with news. All they do is news, news, news. So you're watching television, you're being indoctrinated by the news. And let me tell you, it's a lot of propaganda on the news. They just boom, boom, they just put everything out there. They just bombard you with all sorts of situations, all sorts of, they just overload you with information. And even when you're watching television, you're watching the news, at the bottom of the news, there's stuff still running across stream. So they're just bombarding your mind with stuff. I mean, literally with stuff. When something happens, it's a great news piece. They're on it, and then they stop. They wait on the next big thing to pop in. This is called a situation of design. Okay, it's a design situation. So first of all, they make us consumers. Okay, with everything on TV, how to look, how to dress, how to do this, how to do that. It's all on television, and this is what you see. And then they flip that, and then they indoctrinate us through the news. Okay, be it good, bad, or indifferent. This is there, and it's a total indoctrination of situations that you watch on the news. Black men running from police officers get shot in the back. wars, okay, police corruption, uh, people being sued and all sorts of, they just boom, boom, boom. They just always on it, you know. They don't really give you the real stuff. I mean, the real stuff, you know, when something really gets handled, it's the next big thing, okay? Then they go after our kids, they indoctrinate our kids through the school, through the music, through the apps on their phone. That's how they get to our kids. Now you got kids as young as 10 years old who got their own cell phone. And I understand that they needed to get in contact with their parents, emergencies. I get it. But they're indoctrinating our kids through the social media, through school, through music. The music I grew up on, and the music many of you probably grew up on, that's not the same type of music. I can only speak for myself, and I can say the music that I listened to when I was coming up was giving you power to do things, was telling you it black power. It was instructions like say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud. Marvin Gaye, what's going on? Public Enemy, fight the power. It was all about the struggle. It was Sam Cooke, a change is gonna come. You know, Isley Brother. I mean, we grew up on music that you could understand, that you was listening to. It played to you. Today, it's all about really make your chest wet. Even though, in the late 80s, early 90s, you had a shift in the music scene with what we would call gangster music. I get it. But even that music had a message in it. Today, there's no real message in the music. It's all about who you want to fuck, who you want to grind on. So they get to our kids that way, okay? There's no message in the music because they own it outright, you know? So there's no love in the music, how to treat a woman in the music. It's all about that bitch, that hoe. So they indoctrinate our kids through the music, okay? Through the schools. Listen to check it out. They don't even want to teach you about real American history, what really went down. They want to change it and say, okay, well, they was not slaves, they was involuntary servants. Well, if you're an involuntary servant, then you're a slave. But they don't want that. They want to indoctrinate you into like it was okay. It wasn't okay to put people in slaves. Well, it's been happening since time began, but that doesn't make it right. And if you know it doesn't make it right, then change it. But nah, that didn't go down like that. So they indoctrinate our kids through the music, through the apps, and things that they can download on their phone. All right? That's point number 3. Point number 4, situational design. They what they do is they bring politicians into it. So you get the right wing and you get the left wing, and they just plummet you with news. The Republicans doing this, the Democrats doing that. But they don't never give you the logistics of what's actually taking place. But they're giving you the news. They're not giving you the logistics. So the situation that by design is to keep you off balance. So you're off balance. I'm a Republican. I'm a Democrat. Well, both of them are politicians. I'm not neither left or right. I want to see you do right by the people. You're the politician. You need to do right by the people, regardless if it's Democrat or Republicans. But it's not happening that way. It's a situational or a situation by design. So they keep you off balance. They keep you going back and forth. Black woman versus black man, feminist versus the male. They just keep you all off balance. We all want equal rights under the law. We all want the same thing in life. We all want to be able to love who we want to love without being looked at and like, ugh. You love who you love. Period. I may not agree with it, but that's none of my business. That's your business. All right? So it's a situation of design, and we have to look at it. And this is how they separate people. This is how they keep you separated. They don't want us talking to each other. They don't. They don't want us talking to each other. If you begin to talk to someone who's different than you will find out that you have more things in common than not. You want a nice home. You want a nice car. You either want to be in a nice community, a nice neighborhood. You don't mind working for your wages, for your living, but you don't want to work in such a place to where you can't be able to own a home or own a car or put food on your table or pay for your medications. We basically all want the same. But the situation of design, the system is designed to keep us at odds with those who have and have not. And I'll even change that. It keeps us at odds with those who think they have and the have nots. So you think you got a little bit, but you don't have nothing because you're a paycheck away from losing everything, like most of us, including myself. Let's just be honest with it. See, and this is by a design situation or a situation that is designed. And you have to look at it for what it is. So when you do that, then you can move on down and how to use religion. Religion, all of them are saying is one God. Well, if it's one God, then why are we at odds? Baptist missionary, Presbyterian, Methodist, Presbyterian USA, the Catholics. Why are we all at odds? We're saying that God is all loving, God is all of this, but we're at odds. Well, if you ain't baptized in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, you ain't baptized. Well, if you don't believe like I believe, you ain't right, you going to hell. Come on, people. Don't you see the smoke screens that's being played in front of us? I'm quite sure you have to be intelligent enough to understand the game that's being played. People are playing chess, not checkers. And I tell you what, I may understand the game of chess, and I really don't play. I like to watch people who play. I'm being honest. I like people who play chess because it is so it is so strategic how they move on the board. They're just not playing checkers. Boom, boom, boom. It's a certain way you got to move in order for you to get this person to move a certain way you want them to move. So I enjoy the game. So what they do is they throw up religion. They throw up the separation of people. They throw up the right wing and the left wing. They throw up how to indoctrinate our kids into school and through music and through the apps on their phone. And then they keep the adults indoctrinated through the media, through the news. They just slamming and slamming. And then what they do is they make us all consumers. All consumers. It's very few of us that know how to grow food. It's very few of us who know how to clean water. I'm just looking at it. We live in America, supposed to be one of the richest places to be, one of the greatest places to be, but it ain't happening that way. It ain't happening. America is a dream because a lot of us are still asleep. Until you wake up, you realize you've been caught up and snatched. Okay? Now what they do is they put in the news every day, every night. It's 24 hours a day. Okay? It's 24 hours a day. They fabricate a problem and then they just stuff you with it. You have coronaviruses, 1, 2, and 3, whatever name they gave them. All they do is just pound us with it. All right? They create a problem and then they give you an answer to a problem that they created. Am I lying? They create a problem and give us an answer to the problem that they created. Like, come on. I'm just saying. And I'm going to get to how all of this tie into Freemasonry in just a second. But I have to show you a situation of design. All right? Now, when they began to fight and step in, when we begin to fight against each other, all they do is step in. Oh, you shouldn't do that. We have a solution. They have always had a solution. We know the solution. A lot of us know the solution to our own problem, but we refuse to fix them. And the government itself knows the solution to a lot of our problems. They refuse to invest in them. So this situation is by design. It is not just a situation that come out of nowhere. It's strictly by design. And for those of us who are Freemasons and Eastern Stars and belong to these various societies and organizations, you know as well as I know, if you take a step back and you look at something, you can see it totally different than anybody else. You can be able to put a spotlight on different things and say, I got it. And this is what I see as being a Freemason, and really taking a step back and looking at it and saying, hold on, why are we at odds with each other? Why are those who have, I mean, I'm not talking about the wealthy, I'm not talking about the rich, I'm talking about those who have a decent home or a decent car to drive. Why are you at odds with the poor? Why? It's a situation by design. Because if they really want to do something about the poor, if they really want to do something about those who was on the street and the homeless, they can do it. And when I say they, I'm speaking of the system and those people who we elect to go into the system to straighten out a problem. They don't want to straighten out the problem. They don't want to. We can agree to disagree, but we can agree that everybody needs a decent place to live. We can agree to that. We can agree that people need health care. People need to understand that they are responsible for their health, so we need to encourage you to eat right. We can all agree that we need to encourage the next person to exercise, to take better care of themselves so it doesn't put a strain on the healthcare system, but they don't do that. See, we can all agree on some things. We don't always disagree. There's quite a few things we can all agree on. But the situation by design keeps us at odds, and it happens in Freemasonry. Situation by design, it happens in Freemasonry. And we do it to ourselves in this thing we call Freemasonry. Like yesterday, I was talking about brotherly love, relief, and truth. If that is really true, and we talk about that, then why is it a lot of times when we see things that other jurisdictions are doing, and we're calling them different names, and we're trying to put them in a awkward or a bad situation, or put a bad spotlight on what they're doing? Why is it that we do that? I call it situation of design. I do. That's how I view it, because I see other brothers of the craft, and I see other sisters of the order, and I see how some treat each other. But you tell me that you enjoy this great society for which you are a part of. And it is a great society. It truly is. But you have to understand how to even navigate it. And that's truth. You have to understand how to navigate it. Although a person's jurisdiction or Grand Lodge may consider your Grand Lodge, or not, they don't have what they call Masonic intercourse or relationships with, okay? That Grand Lodge may say, no, we don't have Masonic relationships with that particular Grand Lodge. But those brothers over there may consider you to be a brother Mason. Those sisters over there consider you to be a sister of the Order of the Eastern Star. So we have to understand how this game is being played even within Freemasonry. There is a situation of design to keep you at odds. Why are we at odds with each other? What have I or any of us have done to each other to keep us like this? I'm not saying that in situations, circumstances that somebody hadn't been hurt in this organization. I will never say that. But what I'm saying is, for those of us who understand that, why are we at odds with each other? Why are the so-called jurisdictions, and I say so-called for a particular reason, are at odds with each other over something that happened over 100 years ago? Why are you still beating that bush? You know, why can't you just come to the table and sit down, okay, this, and this, and work this situation out? Are you too afraid, too scared? I don't get it. I would say a situation of design. I would say this situation has been designed to keep you in darkness and not in light. In the fraternal order, or the Society of Freemasonry, it's all about expanding your horizon and understanding and finding that which is lost, which is truth. Anything that you find yourself in Freemasonry, your goal is to find the truth within it. That is truly your goal. So people say, what are you in search of? In search of that which is lost. Well, what's lost? Look around you. What is lost? The family dynamic is lost. So how do you bring that back? Okay? Taking care of each other is lost. How do you bring that back? Being respectful to the next person is lost. How do you bring that back? Some of us have to understand we have to set the example. Although we may not be in the same jurisdiction, Grand Lodge, however you want to phrase that, you still have to set the example of how the society should treat each other. You know, we talk about this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Well, how can you let that little light of yours shine when you got a cap over it? When you're trying to put that light out that's in your heart. When you're trying to do all of that, how can you let your light shine? There's no way possible you can let your light shine. When you don't even understand the simple fundamentals of what it is to be a Mason, there's no way you can let your light shine. I was talking to some Masonic brothers, and they was telling me about their Grand Lodge bylaws, talking about how many pages. It's thick like a book, and it's huge, and you know, we got this person in our lodge, we got that person in our lodge. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. So your Grand Lodge bylaws are thick. They're 500 pages, or your Constitution is 100 pages. What they got to do with me? Nothing at all. Nothing. You trying to shun me because you got a thick Constitution or a thick set of bylaws does nothing for me. Nothing at all. But they do. People do that. They do it to kind of, you know, look at me sort of thing. Situation of design. And if you don't watch yourself, you'll fall right into it. You really have to be aware of what's actually around you and taking place around you. Don't become history, make history. Don't become history, make history. You want to make history? You know exactly how to do it. Make the change. Make the change you want to see. Get involved with whatever. You know, and it's not complicated at all. I was talking to my wife, who's a member of the Order of the Eastern Star, and I was telling her in regards to how the society looks to the outside person. You know, how do you represent the order, you know, as you go through your daily journeys? You riding around with a sticker on your car, you know, whether it be past master, whatever, whether it be a member of the Order of the Eastern Star. That means something. But how do you represent that which it means? You know, do you go around cursing people out? Do you set the example, or do you set the example? Situation of design. Masonry in the Order of the Eastern Stars is designed to awaken your mind. You catch that on the way home. The Order of the Eastern Star and the Freemasons and those in organization of enlightenment are designed to awaken your mind. So look, I've been on here for a few minutes. I hope that each of you are doing well. I hope that your family is doing well. And I just want to send you a big shout out. You know, hit me up sometimes. I'm getting ready to do a little traveling here real soon. Some great things are going to be happening real soon. So look, I look forward to hearing from you. Peace and be well until we see each other again. Godspeed. Remember, I'm not your study guide. I'm just here to help you study. Stay out the bushes. Keep your light on. I'm out.